Hi guys, so in this video we are just going to discuss how MakeBrandsBig give audit reports. So this is just like a sample audit report. Without any further ado, I'll just straightly jump into it. So I'll tell you the kind of data that we got from them as well. It was straight away sponsored product search term report, sponsored brand search term report, and some very basic reports that can be pulled up from Seller Central. Let me turn this small. Yeah. So number one, of course, we have to understand about the sales data, right? How much sales are coming in each and every month, and whether the product in itself is seasonal or not. So this helps us understand that, okay, even though the product is not seasonal, because of course before recording this data we go ahead and have a look at its search volume and the total market as well, but it's not seasonal, but nevertheless it was performing quite well, and recently it took a hit till Feb 2026. So recently the sales have went down even worse than what it was back in 2025. So that means that there's a red alarm which is going on, and it needs to be resolved, because once a brand starts going downhill, it's just straight away it keeps on going downhill. Second thing is, of course, having a look at its brand analytics data. So I'll tell you the problems which the brand has, and that needs to be resolved. Number one, its total customers have definitely went down, and different segments of customers have went down. Other than that, its repeat rate in terms of the number of sales which are coming in. So 2024 it had around 650k worth of repeat purchase orders, which in 2025 have gone down around 20%, right? So one thing that we need to take a look at is, of course, brand customers, and then the repeat purchase rate went down, and how it can be improved is the most important question here. And then we've got some quarterly data. One thing that we've noticed, which a lot of brands might not be paying a huge amount of attention towards, is during its Q1 2025, its add to cart to purchase ratio was actually around 73%. So 73% of people who were adding the product to cart versus who were purchasing, and this went down to 55%. So around 18% of lesser people are adding their product to cart and then resulting in purchase. Now, what could be the problem? The number one thing could be is you go exactly on your product detail page, you add your product to cart, you see what's appearing once you add your product to cart. So either there could be multiple products which are targeting you, which are ASIN targeting you, and you can have a look at what those competitors are doing, what their prices are doing, and you can adjust your pricing accordingly just to stay more competitive and see whether this cart to buy conversion ratio is actually increasing. So this is a very important metric, because in order to push those customers to add your product to cart, you've already paid your ad spend, right? So increasing ad spend or decreasing ad spend or improving organic rank, etc., cannot improve this specific ratio. So what you have to do is you have to get into those customers' shoes and then analyze that what's the problem which is resulting in customers converting at a much worse rate than what they were doing back in Q1 2025. And probably the number one reason I see during poor conversion rates or conversion rates going down is, number one is, of course, competitors targeting you once you add your product to cart. Another thing that we see is this is once again pulled from Search Query Performance Report, is if we've got a specific keyword, how much purchases were we getting on each quarter on this? So that helps us understand, number one, how much market share have we improved on this. Now, this is of course a very low amount of market share, but nevertheless, one thing that we analyze from here is the number of purchases are continuously going down. So it was Q2 2025, there were 18 purchases, then they went up to 23, because I can see this as well, that Q3 of 2025 was actually an anomaly, because it's a cable brand, it's a hardware brand, and the search volumes do not increase in Q3. So of course we can check it against the ad spend as well. How much more ad spend were we doing in August, or whether we were doing any off Amazon marketing that resulted in this specific peak, which before this, after this, the sales were not to the level that they were in August 2025. But coming down again, you need to have a look at your search query performance data. You need to know which keywords your market share is growing, which keyword your market share is declining, which keyword your number of sales are increasing, and where your number of sales are declining. And this helps you analyze, this helps you understand their targeting method as well, because if a specific keyword is giving you a good amount of sales and you have got a good share, but you're not actively targeting that keyword, that means that this keyword should be targeted as well. So a lot of times, we are pulling out data from search query performance reports and then using that data to improve our advertising strategy. Another thing, so these are the highest volume search terms where we've got equal to none impression share. Now, impression share is extremely important because if you do not have impression share, that means you're not even appearing there, right? So you need to index yourself better. That can be done via listing content. And then you need to push yourself up those keywords as well. That can be done via, advertising. And even with advertising, you can figure out that on which placement you are getting the best amount of, impression share, right? And that is something that we will go down later below. Another thing that we see in here is the market basket analysis, and this is very important for a lot of brands that have got huge catalogs. You just have to see that which exact ASINs customers are actually buying when they purchase another ASIN from you. So for example, if SKU A sells, what is the best SKU B that sells along with it? And that's the exact ASIN that either, if it's yours, you do more amount of sponsored product targeting on that ASIN. If it's not yours, if it's of your competitor, or if it's, let's say, another product that complements you, there can be two ways to go around it. Number one could be to either launch that product because you know that it sells along with our product, so it can be bundled up. And the next thing could be that if you're doing product ASIN targeting, you can directly target that specific ASIN which sells the most with your specific product, right? Going down a bit below, so of course we take the best competitor. Where do they rank versus what's our client's rank and what's our PPC coverage. So for example, if this is the competitor's rank, the competitor's name is Monk. They're ranking at number 6 on a keyword that is Cat6 Ethernet cable with a huge search volume. We are ranking at number 9, and we see that our PPC coverage, we are only doing it via auto campaign, right? So we have to check that even if we are doing auto campaign, are we converting on it or are we not? If we are converting and we are not pushing ourselves more, that means that we are, we might be losing a bit on a keyword with such a huge search volume. And same goes for multiple other keywords as well. You need to check your competitors' rank. You need to check your competitors' organic rank. You need to check your organic rank, and then you need to check your competitors' sponsored rank as well. That will help you understand either if they're targeting that keyword with advertising or no. And in case they're targeting it via advertising, that is even a further proof that even if you're advertising, you need to optimize your advertising at such a level where if this is the suggested bid, you are getting optimized to such a level, either via placements or either via adding those keywords to your listing content and adding it to backend search terms in order to improve your CPC in such a way where you're profitable on those keywords. Going down further below, we need to check that exactly which ASINs are performing the best, right? So we see that this is the specific ASIN, the 1000 feet one, the blue one, which is performing the best. It's around 19% of our sales. The black one has got around 10% of sales, but it has got no direct PPC, right? So for example, I'm running my PPC on just one specific ASIN and all of my PPC is actually focused there. But for the other ASINs, I'm not even trying to push it a lot, and even then it's selling a lot and it's selling 10%. It's bringing in 10% of my total sales, and even if I add up, it does not make it 200. So I'm not sure what data is being pulled in, but nevertheless, if this does not explains it to me that I have to directly test this ASIN out as well, I don't know what will, right? Because 10% of your sales are coming from a specific SKU, half of the sales are coming from a specific SKU, and you're not even targeting it via any campaign. So number second thing is this can be improved. Now, another very important thing, and I talk about this a lot, is halo sales. Amazon is giving us a good amount of data via halo sales as well. So you need to check that if I run my advertising, so this is the specific SKU, the blue one is actually being advertised, and blue one is being of course converted the most as well. But another one of my SKUs, so 22% of my sales are being directed to another ASIN when I run my campaign on one ASIN. So for example, if I run an advertising campaign on blue color, 22% of total sales are coming in on white color. So why not try white color, initially as well, and see how much more conversions can I get. 18% of my sales goes to black. So all in all, around 22, 40% of my sales are going to two other colors when I'm advertising with blue. So I need to test out my white and black quite initially, right? I cannot leave it like that. Otherwise, I'm losing sales. Now, of course, they're telling me a bit about level data. If I run a specific campaign, what does that result in? How is that beneficial? I can straight away go ahead and see that what kind of targeting is being done here, because that will give me a benchmark that if I have to start advertising on white and according to this campaign, whatever those targets are, they are giving me the best amount of results. They are bringing me huge amount of sales for my white variation as well. Then I can use this specific targeting to push my white SKU, right? It's as simple as that. Once again, we try to get into further detail of campaign level data, which campaign is giving us what's the auto campaign, how much is exact keywords, exact campaign bringing in, etc., etc. How much halo sales is it bringing in? So for example, if I just have to turn it off, I will go ahead and have a look at my halo sales impact as well, because these sales, even though we are thinking of them as, let's say, organic, they will straight away get deducted because I've turned off this specific campaign. So I need to understand my halo sales before going ahead and turning off a specific campaign. Now this is extremely important, that when I have a look at my data, I go ahead and have a look at my placement level data as well. So one thing that I see over here, and I'm not sure what the initial thought was, is in a specific campaign, my product pages is getting around 50% of bid modifier. And even though it has got one of the worst conversion rates, it has got a very bad ACOS, it has got a very high CPC as well. This has actually got a much higher CPC, but because my product is Amazon business centric, on this specific campaign, even though it's a 0% bid modifier, I'm still getting a much better conversion rate and a huge amount of better ACOS. It's 107% versus 19%. My CTR is better in here as well. So whenever I'm actually going ahead and optimizing my campaigns, I need to know with regards to each and every specific campaign, how my different type of placements are performing and what kind of conversion rates and what kind of click-through rates are those specific campaigns giving in. So of course, we try to tell our clients that business is quietly efficient. They're not even trying to focus on business, but when we go ahead and have a look at their B2B reports, there's something which is resulting in a huge amount of sales as well. What's the breakdown of auto versus phased versus broad? That helps us understand it as well. Now the total spend is around 10,000. The blended ACOS is 48.8%. This is not on Campaign Manager, but because we are getting some halo sales as well, that's why $6,500 of halo sales as well. When we blend them together, that's what gives us around 48% ACOS. And then we have got the best keywords with the best ACOS, with the best conversion rates. They are only being targeted via auto. So I need to pick those keywords up, and then I need to add those keywords into my manual campaigns or whatever as well, because the proof of performance is built enough on this to understand that okay, this is going to result me in a good amount of sales, and I can push further on these keywords as well, because they do have a good amount of search volume, as we saw in search query performance data. And for example, so with this one, we try to tell our clients that if you're pushing a specific keyword, but it's being added on another campaign as well, and you're doing this exact match, the same match on both of the campaigns, you're actually cannibalizing on the data. So you need to push a specific keyword on a specific variation on just one campaign. Even if you're testing it out, you can recreate the campaign, test it out, but do not, this is not a solution for long term. You have to figure out that what match type is performing best, which keyword on which campaign is performing best, and pause the same keyword, same variation on other campaigns. So, this is straight away the kind of audit that MakeBrandsBig does. It tells you, what you need to stop just to straight away save you a good amount of budgets. Then it tells you, how you can think about midterm and, improve your campaigns, improve your bid modifiers, what kind of SKUs, which SKUs do you need to target, where you need to index more, which, ASINs are good to launch. And then of course, for a long-term plan, which is a 90-day straight away plan, where we can tell that, okay, this is exactly what can improve your conversion rate, or this is where your listening content needs to be improved. So, and here we are telling them how to structurally acquire new customers and then work on improving the repeat purchase rates as well. And all of this data is straight away coming from a client, but end of the day, it's a very small level of data that we are getting. And this is the kind of audit that we are building in. So if you're interested to get your brand audited and get a great results and a great insight on what to improve, what not to improve, and how you can actually improve your brand, feel free to leave us a DM. Thank you.